Good hi and hello. I'm going to be using a lot of new things, of course, and if you would like to see how I go from this to this, then let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start out with skin prep. I'm going to spray my skin with the Tower 28 Daily Rescue Facial Spray. So to follow that, I'm going to take the new Pure Leafs Watermelon Energizing Aqua Bomb. This is a gel cream. Just going to take one finger length worth, warm it up in my hand, and rub it all into the skin. Another product that is viral new is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter. I have the shade Fair. And everybody who is anybody is getting their 15 to 30 seconds of fame with comparing this to the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. They are a very similar product. I'm going to take a BK Beauty 101 brush. Just spread that across my skin. And because the color is a little too deep, even though it is the shade Fair, I have to take it down my neck. So I've used this a couple times, and my main verdict is that if you have an oilier skin type, I think as is, you're going to love this product and the glow it provides. If you have a more dehydrated to dry skin type, then you will need to go in with something hydrating underneath, because it is not as emollient as the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. It is more similar to the Auric Glow Lust, but with less coverage. So just always, in general, it's a good idea to do skin prep, 10 to 15 minutes before you do your makeup, so everything sits nicely on the skin. And for my complexion today, I'm going to do the Chloe Morello Trick Hack. I did that over on my Instagram with Root Pretty products, and I really like the way it looks, so I'm going to continue to experiment with that technique. So I'm just going to take a little fluffy brush. I'm going to dip it into my Chantecaille gel foundation in the shade Aura. I'm going to take whatever is on the lid, and I'm going to apply that just around the face. Also going to take what's left on the brush and dab that onto my neck. Then I'm going to go in with the concealer that I'm going to use for the day, which is going to be the NYX Cosmetics Bear With Me Serum Concealer. Of course, I am in the shade Fair, and I'm going to take that same brush and add one pump and place it underneath my eyes in any place that I will want brightness when I'm blending. Next, I'm going to add bronzer. I'm taking the Milk Makeup matte bronzer in the shade Baked. I'm going to take that around the perimeters of my face and the sides of my nose, as well as a little by the ear and chin for some sculpting. The great thing with this technique is I can always go back and add more if I need it, but it's better to see that first before adding so much product onto the skin. And for my blush today, I'm taking the new CoverGirl Clean Fresh All Over Dewy Tint. This is for eyes, lips, and cheeks, according to them. This is shade 300 Mauve Kiss. Because I don't like to get my fingers dirty, just going to squirt that cautiously onto the same brush I've been using and place that where I would normally place blush. And I like to apply blush right here as well. So once you have all your cream product applied, then you can take a favorite setting spray or facial mist. I'm going to use the Peach and Lily Glass Skin Veil Mist Hydrate and Glow. And I'm just going to spray over this and use a damp sponge to blend everything in, starting with the concealer. Moving on to foundation. blending in that blush, and finally blending in the bronzer. Here's everything blended in. I do need more blush because this CoverGirl Dew Tint, it's a little more sheer, but that's okay because I don't have a bunch of layers of makeup on my face. This technique lends itself to being customizable and adjustable. Alright, as usual, I'm rocking really fresh, simple skin, and I'm going to add the drama through the eyes. I picked up the Isamaya Industrial Color Pigments eyeshadow palette, and I'm going to create a smoky, grungy look with this. The eyeshadows are absolutely beautiful, and they look like they'll be very similar to Pat McGrath, and it is very expensive, but in the grand scheme of things, it is cheaper than Pat McGrath, so we shall see. Okay, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and put some treatment on my lips. I'm taking the Kosas Plump and Juicy Collagen Lip Boost. It's just a clear day and night lip treatment, which they did generously send in PR, and I'm going to let that do its thing while I do the eyeshadow. I'm going to take this shade right here, which I believe is the shade Fetish, and I'm going to take that just on a fluffy brush. I'm going to start by buffing that into my crease. It does have glitter in the pan, but when using this big fluffy brush, it diffuses it, and it's not quite so apparent. If you were to add it with your finger, I'm sure that glitter would show up a lot more. I mean, you can still see it this way. I have no idea what direction I'm taking. I am pretty pleased that the eyeshadow is doing what I want it to do, despite it being so deep and dark in the pan and full of glitter and dimension. And here's how it looks on the eye. I'm using the sheerest wash with the lightest pressure because I just wanted to lay something down to begin with. And it does have almost like an aubergine undertone to this brow, so pretty. I'm not sure if the shade names are flipped or what, so forgive me if I call a shadow the wrong name. I'm going to take this eyeshadow, which you can't tell with my diffused lighting, but in person it does look like it is a duochrome. Oh, it has pink and green in it. Swatch is not helpful, but I'm taking that on a teeny tiny little brush that's still fluffy. I'm placing this in the inner corner, so right where your tear duct is, and the scoop. So if you have deep set eyes, this is a way to, when you put bright shimmer right here, it's a way to bring your eyes forward, which is not to mean that you can't also do this shape without having deep set eyes. So I'm kind of just making a little crescent shape. It looks pretty basic in the pan, but on the eye it's really looking nice. And with this first shade that I used adjacent from it that has that aubergine undertone, it's looking nice. Okay, I'm going to use my ring finger and I'm going to take the green. Some of these words are risque and I may or may not know what they mean. I'm placing that in the very middle of my eye. Then I'm going to lightly flick it up when there's not as much on my finger to meet where I just swooped. I am taking this green. It shifts green and blue. Looks like it may also have some purple on a tiny, tiny little brush. It's going on the outer corner into a wing. Everything Isamaya is smoky, grungy. So I'm creating just a triangle right there at the outer corner. I'm just trying to use so many shades. I'm going to take the shade, which I believe is called Leather, right here. It is a gold, like a green antique gold. I'm just going to feel this space right here. Get up into the crease as well, just by simply turning my brush. These are the details that you're going to see more in person than in this video and even in a picture. Because when I turn my head, you can see gold, but when I'm looking straight forward, it looks a little deeper than that. That olive really shines through. So they're very shifty. Very shifty. And I'm using everything dried so far. I have not wet a single brush. And all these shades are going to blend well into each other because they all have a touch of shimmer to them, except for this first shade, which I believe is called Fetish or Initiator. I don't really know, but that's the only matte shade. See, straight on, looks green, but you can see that gold. And in person, it just looks crazy cool. All right, I'm going to take my finger into this shade right here, which if I had to guess, it would be called Brass. Maybe? Ooh, it's so soft, and it's like a topper. So this shade almost has no base pigment to it. It's just shiny. So I'm just going to put that right over that center green shade, just to really, really make it pop. I'm going to take a fluffy brush. It does have gold. And buff that underneath my brow. And I'm like, what do I place right there in the inner corner? Right. This blank space right here, I believe I'm taking the shade Sweat, which is another olivey green. This palette for fall is going to be, I believe the kids say everything. It's going to be everything. Okay. This shade all over the lid is going to be beautiful. The shade I'm using right now is very similar to the shade I used in my crease, whereas you can see the glitter, but when you place it onto the eye, it almost looks more like a satin eyeshadow than, you know, an eyeshadow with glitter. A lot of times with more inexpensive eyeshadow palettes, if they have glitter, it looks chunky. But this, the glitter is so finely milled that it looks like a satin eyeshadow instead of a matte eyeshadow with glitter in it, if that makes any sense. I mean, if you know, you know, I suppose. I'm going to just turn my brush. So I was using the flat side of my brush. I'm going to turn it and use the bottoms of the bristles in that same shade. And buff that on the lower lash line. I think I'm going to go all the way across. And then just use my finger back in this same green. And I'm not, okay. Well, I was going to say I'm not being afraid of letting it go down too far, but that might have been just a little bit too far. So now it's a game of just going back to all the shades I used and blending. I'm back with the first original brown shade that I used underneath everything. I mean, we're really smoking and grunging. If it's a day where you didn't sleep well, smoky eye will be your BFF. I'm also going to take this shade on the lower lash line as well. Pop it in the inner corner. This was the shade that is basically just no pigment underneath. Here's my first look with the Isamaya eyeshadow palette. More looks to come for sure. This is right up my alley. They remind me so much of Pat McGrath, Danessa Myricks. I'm going to go in with an eyeliner. I'm going to try to use this House Labs eyeliner And this is the Optic Intensity Eco Eyeliner in the shade Olive Shimmer. Since I have all these green tones, I'm going to take this into my waterline. Ooh, yeah, good choice there. Going to tightline. So now with the eyes done, we can kind of see that the base needs a boost. Taking a BK Beauty 104 brush and the House Labs Power Sculpt Velvet Bronzer in light level 1. Going to gently pat this onto the skin. And I particularly enjoy the 104 brush because it comes to a taper, so I can place the bronzer with the tip of the taper and blend with the surrounding bristles. I'm really taking some time here to sculpt the cheekbones. And for powder blush, I'm taking the RMS Beauty 3-Dimension Hydra Powder Blush in the shade Hanky Panky. It has a duo shift. Shifts blue. So now the cheeks are very shifty. The eyes are shifty. The cheeks are shifty. Face is just full of dimension and surprise. Take that blush. Place it right here. If throughout the powder process you need to touch up your eyeshadow, is no shame in that game. Alright, moving on to brows. I have some new products to try. So definitely the Isamaya. This is their Brow Lemonator, and this is transparent. We all can thank Khaki for influencing me to buy this. It's like a big PR package looking deal. And it did end up being the better deal because I wanted to try quite a few things, especially the mascara and the eyeshadow palette. You know, do some math, beep boop beep boop, when you figure out you might as well buy the $200 box because it actually does save you like $20 in the long run. So I'm going to take this through my brows first. Then I'm going to take the included comb, scoop some out, place it on the back of my hand, the same spoolie, to brush my little Invisibrows up, and then take the comb, and then use the flat side of the comb to press the hairs down to the skin. Now, because I have blonde hair, you really can't see much. Right, so far I am already telling that I enjoy that more than the Anastasia brow gel and more than the e.l.f. brow gel that was trying to dupe the Anastasia one. So that's good because I'm very picky when it comes to brows. That's not a brow product I typically use, but it could be the start of a new relationship. Okay, I'm going to take the new Patrick Ta Major Brow Defining Pencil. They sent me the shade Blonde. I'm going to hopefully see if this goes over the Isamaya brow lack. I will say the tip on this Patrick Ta eyebrow pencil is like a tiny oval. So it is actually pretty precise. And the blonde is a true ashy blonde. There's no red in this blonde. Alright, brows are on. It is time to test out the Isamaya Rubber Lash Latex Lift Black Mascara. It's got a rubber coating on the outside. It has a piercing that is functional, which I have a lot of piercings, so very cool. And the brush has silicone bristles, shorter on the inside and longer on the outside. And it is supposed to provide so much curl, so I'm going to really put that to the test because my eyelashes point straight down to the very ground itself. So you shall see how curling this mascara is. I'm not going to prime with a waterproof mascara because I like chunky lashes anyway. So some spikes on the end so you can turn it vertically and get into your lashes like that. So the formula is moussey. I'm just doing the old wiggle and pull through method. But this is sharp, so if you poke yourself in the eyeball like I just did, it's going to hurt. It is getting every single lash. Alright, here's my curl. As of right now, we shall see. It's supposed to curl as it dries, but usually my curl falls as mascara dries, so I mean, not saying I'm skeptical, but I'm saying I'm skeptical. While the mascara dries, I'm going to line my lips with the NYX Cosmetics liner in the shade Mohogany. And over the lip liner, I am taking the Lip Lac Maximizing Lip Serum in the shade Black Veil. Has another functional piercing, and it is a black leaning burgundy lip gloss with a bunch of glitters. I like the smell. I like that this doe foot comes to a point so I can really get in there with some precision. I love this. It smells so familiar to me, but I can't quite put my finger on it. It's like a vanilla mint, like a Tic Tac or something. I love the shade. The last thing I'm going to do is load myself up with some more freckles. I'm going to use the Pseudolab Freckles in the shade 2. Going to give it a good shake. Looks like this, and it comes with this, so you want to carefully just take this stick and brush it down the bristles onto your skin. And you can pat them in place. What you also can do is drop it. And you can take the tip of the applicator for precise freckles that you want in a certain area. Like I have a larger freckle right here that I like to turn into a beauty mark. So I will use that right there. Also a great way to disguise any blemishes. If you get anywhere you don't want, if you quickly just take a Q-tip or a mascara wand and flick it off. It'll come off before it dries because these are waterproof. Alright, the very last thing I'm going to do now that my freckles are applied is I'm going to add some NYX Thick It Stick It through my brows because I like them to be a little more red than the Patrick Ta pencil on its own provided for me, so it's a good base. But this just brings it closer to my hair color. And the Isamaya brow gel underneath is being super agreeable. That's what it needed. Hair's gotta be super messy for a grungy look. Alright, drawer check. Drawers are set. This is the final look, playing with some new products, some old products, and just products. Right. Mostly showcasing the Isamaya products, which I am absolutely feeling. The lashes are dry, and they're still soft to the touch. And my lashes are pretty curled for not being a waterproof mascara. I am impressed. I even added some of that iridescent no pigment color on the tops of my cheekbones from the palette. I'm just really loving the look, and I love this lip lac. I could keep applying it all day long. I love the color. I'm already so inspired to do more looks with the eyeshadow palette. I'm already inspired to do a look just with the lip lac. So I am really impressed with the Isamaya products. I cannot wait to see what else she comes out with because color me a fan. Color me a fan. I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to do the YouTube things. Like and subscribe somewhere down there. I'll try my best to list all the products that I used for you all, but my comments are always a safe space. If you want to talk or if you have any requests for future videos, every time somebody requests a video from me, I write it down. If you have already requested a video from me and you haven't seen it yet, please know that it has been written down and it is on the to-do list, okay? Great day or night wherever you are, and we will speak again soon. Bye. It's like grungy Christmas, you know? Love it.